Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We are in episode 3 in our series, How to Win That Final Contest of Your Season. We're going to talk about posing and presentation, kind of that aesthetic part of you walking on stage. And the reason I love that you had brought up this topic, Adam, I have a client that fits this mold perfectly. She's typically a little bit of a nervous poser, just doesn't feel comfortable on stage with, having to present your swag in front of judges in the audience. And every single time she's competed and, first call outs, close second places, the first comments out of judges' mouths are typically, posing and presentation. So I remember after this last show, and she is now heading toward her final shot of the year. She's like, damn it, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get better. I'm going to do it. And so, she finally got angry enough to say, I'm going to make sure I do whatever it takes to work on my posing and my stage presence. And, what a great time. Because I think we kind of get the butterflies out in the first contest or two. And it's a perfect reaction for somebody to say, it's time to step up my game in this area because you've already had some of those attempts earlier in the year.
Yeah. One thing that really stood out to me at the Arnold this year was Nick Walker. He's 250 pounds. So I think he's like 5'7". He's a little shorter, but he's just a mass monster. And he was the first to hit his poses. His transitions were nice, but not too long. So he was really beating the guys on the poses. I would say his only weak point was his side tricep. Probably needs some work, but I think that's just the sheer mass he has. He just has a hard time getting his arm behind his back, and he's just really sideways. But kudos to him. He posed like a champ this weekend. That side tricep was the only pose I could really pick apart. But I mean, I've never been even close to being that big, so I can't imagine what that feels like. But I think when you're that close, Steve Kuklo and Ann, who were in that class, it came down to conditioning and posing, and Nick's posing was definitely dead on.
Yeah, I mean, it always does. And this is a chance to really work on it and even find what you think was helpful in maybe some coaching or judges' comments. So to your point, there are even certain poses and bikini competitors are forever working on different little postural things. Do I pronate my hand or supinate my hand? What does that do to my bicep or my shoulder? All kinds of little things. And now you have some data from your first contest or two. Look at those photos compared to other people in your class and take some real-time photo comparisons or video now. And maybe this is your shot to do something a little bit different and see the result.
Yeah, absolutely. Posing, honestly, for a lot of people can be the one thing that really changes their placement from a show to another. If you came in lean enough your show prior, maintaining that leanness first is very important. But if you can take some time and work on some posing and presentation later, I think that can really give you a win in your last contest of the season.
I'm glad you mentioned transitions, and I think I spoke about this a few episodes ago. But when I was down at the IFBB Nashville, Pro Fit Show, and the pro bikini division, I believe it was a woman who got fourth. I wish I knew her name, but just a stunningly beautiful Black woman who I have never seen anybody in bikini use her hips and glutes in the movement and transitions, not just the pose. Like everybody, most people can get into a really good pose, but it was almost hypnotic watching her own the stage, which with just the little subtle movements of the way she would contract or change her hip positions. And I have literally sent links from her Instagram to other competitors saying, this is how you pose. And it's not the pose, it's the movements in between that create that persona in that style.
Yeah, because you're all subject to that, mandatory position of the pose. But what you do in between can be very unique to you. So it truly is an art, and it can draw the audience and the judges to you.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned this, and I'll just close with this point with men's bodybuilding or maybe even men's physique. those gesticulations and movements in between poses that for some reason people feel they have to do, where they're, doing a side chest, they start sweeping their arms out and pulling it back and rolling things around and then finally hitting the pose. I mean, if you're the last guy hitting the pose, the judge is already looking at other people, and it becomes almost so dramatic that it becomes distracting. And so, like you said, be professional, be crisp, but respect the judge's time and realize the quicker you get there and the snappier you get there, as long as you're smooth, you're probably going to get the judges looking at you first. It's a huge advantage.
Especially if you have a good body part. My men's physique guy this weekend, his back's just as wide as a kite. And I told him, be the first to hit that back pose no matter what.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna move on to episodes 4 and 5. I think you're gonna like the way we wrap up the series. Thanks again for watching and listening to Contest Prep University. We'll see you next time.